flip on the old screen. Please just let me know that you are seeing Infusionsoft and not the GoToWebinar screen. Signed into the wrong app here. Okay, so today I'm going to talk a little bit about the email-only campaign and go through that briefly. Now, there's a couple of differences. I know you guys have access to the videos that go over how to use that. There's been a couple of changes, so I'll talk about those. Everything in the video still works if you want to set it up that way, but there's a better way to do it and an easier way. So we will cover that and then go into sort of a live or Q&A. So if you have Infusionsoft questions or questions about anything, you can type those in the question box at any time, and I'll kind of circle back to those and make sure that they all get covered. So when we're going over stuff in the email-only campaign and something's not clear or you want me to revisit something, just go ahead and type it in the question box, and I'll stop periodically and loop back in and make sure that you guys all understand what's happening and everything's clear. Having said that, this call will be somewhat of a challenge. I don't know if any of you have been in Infusionsoft today, but as of probably an hour ago, there's a weird little bug that they are experiencing. So I talked to some people over there. They are aware of it. They are working on getting it fixed. I don't know when that will be, but you can tell, so I'll show you. In Infusionsoft, if I click on anything, say I click on contacts, it opens up the help center. So it still goes to the contacts section back in Infusionsoft, but every time I have to close it out. So every time I click on something, that opens. So the call will be a lot of me closing out that window and kind of shifting back to Infusionsoft, but what can we do? Nothing I can do about it now, so just have to endure. The show goes on. But if you are having that issue, I know a couple people have asked me hey, what's going on? Yes, that is not just you. You're not doing anything wrong. It's not a user error. That is an Infusionsoft bug that is affecting everyone, I believe. So they're working on getting that fixed. I'm sure it'll be fixed here shortly, but just one of those weird things. Okay, so yeah, like I said, just go ahead and type in the question box if you have tech questions and stuff you want answered, and I'll loop back to them. So let's go over to the campaign builder. And email only campaign. So this campaign is really meant to be rolled out to your existing list, not cold traffic necessarily, and it's best if it's used kind of after they've already been through another campaign. So for instance, the way we use this campaign most is after they've been through either a launch campaign for one of our other products or a webinar campaign and they did not buy, then we'll drop them into the email only campaign. And the high level view of it, the 30,000 foot, if you will, is right here. We're sending 3 feeler emails. Now, by feeler emails, what we mean is we're just kind of sending them an email to gauge their interest. So we're saying, hey, we have this, we're offering, let me know if you're interested, is kind of the high level. So we'll say, hey, so for this one, I believe, we said, you guys have all the copy, but it says something like, hey, we're having a marketing seminar with our whole team down in San Diego where we'll do this, this, and this. If you're interested in that, just let me know. We have a couple of spots left, and go ahead and respond to this email and let us know. So as opposed to some of the other emails some of the other campaigns where we're tracking, if they click a link or if they watch a video or if they do something, the action that we're tracking in this is them responding to the email. So we actually want them writing us. So that's going to filter out of a lot of the people that are, kind of on the fence and maybe not really interested, just around reading the emails. So you'll get very qualified people and very kind of fast action people because they're responding to the email and they're physically saying, yes, I'm in. Yes, I'm interested. Great to use if you have if you offer a coaching service or consulting. We've had some people do that as well. So they'll send out an email that says, hey, I had a couple of either cancellations or a couple spots fill up, so I still have X amount of slots left for my course or for my consulting services. I know you indicated you're interested a while ago. Just shoot me an email if you're still interested, and then they can respond. And it's all automated also, so you can say whatever you want. But so then they respond, and I'll go over this in a minute because this looks a little bit different than the ones that are in your apps, and I'll explain that in a minute. Then they respond. Then we send them an email that has all of the information, so price and everything. It says all right, here's the details. The package costs X amount of money. Here's everything we're doing. Here's what it includes. Basically, that's kind of the pitch for it. So you're sending them an email. It's all email. Let me know if you're still in. So now they know the price. They know everything that's included. They are fully aware of the exact offer. There's nothing hidden there. We just kind of say everything. Here's the cancellation policy. Everything is listed out in that email. And then we say, let us know if you're in. Once they respond there, in this sequence, we create an opportunity record, which we're going to discuss today as well, kind of how those work. And then we call them. So once they say, yeah, I'm in, then we just get on the phone and we actually close on the phone. Now, depending on how high ticket of an item this is, you might not need to actually get on the phone with them. You might be able to just send them, an order form that they can fill out. But we're selling a fairly expensive package through this, so we like to get on the phone and actually sell there. Okay, so these goals right here, in your application, they probably look like that. So they're an API goal. So like I said, in the video, kind of in the member area, we discuss how to set that up, and we do that using a program called Parsi. And what Parsi does is when they respond to a specific email address, then this goal is achieved through the API, and we send them to the next sequence. And in this one, we wait 15 minutes and then send them a response. It says, hey, thanks so much for your email. I got it. Here's all the details. Now, since we originally created this, plus this, which you should all have or will have eventually, plus this actually rolled out a very similar feature. So we no longer need to use Parsi. So what you will do is change. Now you still can use Parsi. That still works totally fine. Parsi is like $19 a month or something. It's not expensive. So if you're already using it for something else, then yeah, you can still fully set it up that way. But plus this makes it, a little bit easier. So we're just going to click the little corner icon. That lets you change what type of goal it is. And then this goal is achieved when and we're going to say apply as a tag. We want to change this to a tag goal. This one will be an API goal as well. Change it to a tag goal. Then I'm going to show you how to set that up over in plus this. So we'll hit add feature. And the one we're going to be using is email triggers right here. So I'll hit add. So now we configure the tags that we'd like to apply when they respond to that email. So in this case, here's a list of all my tags. I'm going to go down to the email only, and I am going to pick engaged. There we go. So I'm going to pick engaged. That's going to be the tag I use. It doesn't really matter which one you pick as long as this right here matches up with this. So I'm going to double click on that, and then I'm going to go down to email only, and I'm going to choose engaged. So just make sure that that tag in the goal and the tag you're using in plus this are the same, and you'll be fine. So that is really it for there. So I'm just going to say email only 1. We have to do this feature twice, so I like to name it email only 1, email only 2. Hit add feature, and then you'll notice it'll give you a long email address. So a couple different things you can do here. You can either copy this, you just click on it and copy it, and then go into each of these emails and set it as the from email address. So it'll actually be sending from that email address. Now the name can be whatever you want. You can choose the name, so it can still be your business name or your personal name, but it'll be from that email address. You can definitely do that. It can be kind of weird because it's people might see, hey, it's coming from this long email address. So another option, and what we do is just set up a domain forwarder. So and you can Google how to do that through your email provider, whichever you're using, but pretty easy to set up, and you can just have it forward to this email address, and then that goal will still be achieved. So that's kind of the best way. Just have whatever email you're sending it from forward to here, and that goal will be achieved, and everything should work fine. So set that up once for the first goal, and then you're going to do the same thing for this goal. So we're going to do a different tag. So for this one, I would probably do replied to info email. So that'd be the tag there, and then it'll move them to the opportunity. So I do want to talk for a minute about that, but before we get into that, was that clear to everyone? Do you have questions on that part? I see some of your other questions here, so I'll get to those in a minute, but just want to make sure that that's all good. Cool. All clear. Good. Yes, got it. Awesome. So opportunity records. Opportunity records in Infusionsoft are good and helpful, mainly if you kind of have a sales team and are using it that way. If you're kind of just selling online, then I wouldn't worry about them too much. You shouldn't really need to use them. Basically, it allows you to track kind of where your customers are in certain flows. So you can have new lead, you can switch them to warm lead, and have your sales team kind of work through them. It really is beneficial if you have like a sales team and you're selling higher ticket per items, kind of a longer buying process. Otherwise, you don't really, if they're just buying, like you're selling info products or something that is maybe not as high ticket, you probably don't need to track with that kind of level, with creating opportunity records and moving them through different stages. So I would really only recommend diving into it if you have kind of a sales team. So I'm not going to cover it right now just because most of you will not use it. If you do want to use it and want some more information, just let me know, and we can kind of we can discuss some strategy around it. But what I would recommend doing here, if you are going to call and close these people instead of an opportunity record, is create a task. So I can drag this out. I'm just going to start a new line here. So instead of this one, move that out of the way. Instead of that one, I would create a task. So if we double click on that, I can select the type, call, email, appointment, whatever it is. This one's going to be a call. I'm going to say call new lead. And I can put some notes here in the body. I can say, this is for sales from email only campaign, or whatever notes you need, you can put in there. Assign to contacts owner, again, that only really applies. I would just tick that. Only really applies if you're kind of dispersing leads to different sales reps and setting up like a round robin, which you can do in Infusionsoft. So otherwise, it's just you want it to probably be assigned to you, and you're probably the contact owner, since you will all be the admin on your account. You'll be the number one contact record. Assign to backup, I would assign to you as well. If it's going to be you making the calls or whoever's making the calls, I would assign to backup. Days until due, so you can set from the moment they respond to that email, do you want to call them right away? Probably, because they're a hot lead. They just indicated twice that they were interested. You don't want them sitting around waiting for a while. So I would call them probably right away. I'd probably set it at 0, and then you could set the time. So let's say 8 a.m. Priority, just set 1. Critical. No one really uses the priority there, so I won't cover it too much. You can have notifications. So if you do have, managers or someone else that's inside the Infusionsoft app that you want to notify, you can do that. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to set it. So what will happen now is once that person gets into this part of the campaign, this part of the sequence, it will create a task. So this is called My Day in Infusionsoft. And if you go there, you can actually have your calendar all set up here as well. So under your task list right here, it'll have call, and it'll say the person's name. And so it'll give me all the details that I entered previously. So you can kind of look and be like, okay, today I need to call this person from the email only campaign. And once you complete it, we can actually trigger automation as well. So I can have it, okay, call's done. I hit complete. So if I'm on the sales call and say, hey, yeah, I'll send you some more information right when we get off the phone here, or whatever. I can do that. I can hit the check bar that task is completed. Based upon that task being completed, an email can automatically be sent. So I'm going to go back to the campaign. This thing is so annoying. Come on, Infusionsoft. So we have this sequence. Instead of this purchase goal, I'm going to change it to complete the task. And then if I double click on it, guess what? There's my new task that I created in the previous sequence. So now when that task gets completed, and I can do that from that My Day screen I just showed you, this goal will be achieved, and I can add some automation here. I can add, some emails. I can send them, a PDF of everything we covered. I can do whatever I need to do within that sequence. So pretty cool. Tasks are, if you set them up right, can be pretty powerful because, you can have everything organized. You can have your list of calls that you need to make every day. And you can trigger automatic automation that based on completing those. It says, hey, thanks for talking to me today. Here's the info we discussed, yada, yada, yada. So pretty cool. I'm going to change this stuff back or else I will forget. Okay, so I'm going to go through some of these questions here now. Okay, I want to send a welcome email once a new contact first signs up and never again. How do I tag that in Infusionsoft? So there are a couple of ways to do that. So you already have a new customer campaign. Actually, I'm not even going to create another one. I'll just use that. you have a customer campaign that's called new customer. Very basic. It's just a goal followed by a sequence. So it's generally intended for purchases, but we can easily change that. So what I would do, and it depends on how they're signing up, and there's a couple different factors here. If they're signing up through an opt-in form, like if it's through one of these megaphone forms, I would do it exactly like this. I'd set it as submits web form, change the name to new opt-in or something, whatever's going to help you remember. Set that to ready. And then this is going to be the new customer welcome email. So you can say, hey, welcome, just wanted to, welcome you. Here's something cool. Here's a freebie. Here's a guide, something like that. So then I would go to Megaphone, or you could do this in Lead Pages, whatever you're using, whatever the form is built on. If there's an integration with Infusionsoft, it should work. So we'll use this Goodwill opt-in. So they might not be opting in for a specific campaign if they're just, signing up for your newsletter to be notified to, whatever it is, but you want to send them one email. I'll just go to the form integration, hit Infusionsoft, and then, I might not be in the right Megaphone app. Sorry about that. So let's go back to, here we go, Facebook opt-in. Back to the form integration, click Infusionsoft, and select, I forget what I named it. Oh, I never published it. So change the name, publish, and then it should show up in your Megaphone list here. Under the form integrations, new opt-in, save. That's the easiest way. Now, anytime they fill out this form, or whatever form you're setting, it will automatically trigger this campaign, send them that one email, and that will be done. And you can apply the tag right here, that says registered for, or, signed up for. Now, if you're using a form that does not integrate like that with Infusionsoft, they still have an integration, but it's all based on tagging. What I would do is just have this goal be a tag, and then through your integration, just set the tag that's being applied. So on whatever integration side you're using, once they fill out the form, there's probably an option to either, like we did it with Megaphone, like choose the form name or apply a tag based on them filling out that form. So if it's apply a tag, just set that tag here, and then it'll trigger this campaign and send them the email. So, does that make sense? Okay, can you explain the tags to me to start a sequence and take people in and out of a sequence? Yes. So I'm not going to use that campaign because it's not as involved enough. I will use the AutoWebby campaign to explain that. So within Infusionsoft, there are goals, which you'll find under here in the campaign tools right there. Goals are what basically control the campaign. So that is how everything runs, and everything kind of is triggered, are all based on goals. So you can click this little corner option. Like right when you drag out a goal, it's going to ask you, for a goal name, and then this goal is achieved when, and there's all these options. So submitting a web form, that will achieve a goal. Clicking a link will achieve a goal. Landing page, purchasing will achieve a goal. Tag, that's a goal. There's all these other options as well. So those are what trigger the campaign. Now, for instance, here, if I wanted to start this campaign, I would need to, this tag would need to be applied. I can see it's a tag because it has a little purple icon. If I double click on it, it'll tell me which tag. Send webinar invite. So the only way to get into this campaign is by getting that send webinar invite tag. Now, there are some other things you can do to create entry points in the campaign. So you'll notice right here, there's that little man kind of with the arrow pointing in. That means that this is an entry point in the campaign. So if I click on this little thing, you can see this goal is achieved by any contact or contacts in this campaign. So if I change that to contacts in this campaign, that little man is going to go away. Now it's not an entry point anymore. Now this is literally the only start place. And this is always going to be an entry point because it's the first thing. So if I double click on this, oops, if I click on the corner here, it's not going to give me the option there because that has to be the entry point. But for all these other goals, you can set them as entry points. So for here, we do that because now I can invite my existing list through this tag. I can send them the webinar invite. Or if I'm running traffic or running ads to a webinar sign up, well, I want to invite them again. They already registered. So we'll make this an entry point. And now they can just start right here, and then they're thrown in with the reminder emails and the indoctrination as well. So now, goals will also stop anything that is previous. So for instance, this logged in tag right here will stop everything before it. So once they log into the webinar, then if any of these emails were scheduled, which they wouldn't because they're all reminder emails, but if an indoctrination email was scheduled or something, that would no longer run. It would automatically pull them out and put them into the sequence that goes next. Now you can change that. So say you have a course or something or a free training that it's a 3-part video series that's selling something. But even if they buy, you still want to give them the 3-part video series. So you don't want to stop those from being delivered. This little blue flag, you can click that, and it says, when a goal is achieved, the sequence stops immediately, runs until completed. So if I wanted those emails to keep getting delivered, even after they've achieved the goal, then I will just select that, and now it'll keep running no matter what. But most of the time, you're going to want it to stop because you want them to move on to the next thing. So you'll notice kind of all of these end with a purchase. So if at any time they purchase this product, well, we don't want to market to them anymore and send them emails about something they already purchased. So it stops everything before it, and we'll just jump them ahead to right there and stop it. So hopefully that clears it up a little bit. Let me know if you have questions on it. But basically, goals control the campaign. They're how contacts move. They're how we track everything. And we can, base a lot of actions on kind of what they do and what they don't do. So if they don't achieve this goal, like right here, they're getting tagged if they log into the webinar. So if they don't log into the webinar, well, they can't move past it. They can't move here because they can't move past this goal. They're never going to get it. So instead, they're going to be filtered down to the no-show, and then we're going to re-invite them. So if they don't achieve any point, there's a goal, you'll see a contingency because then there's a chance that that goal doesn't get achieved, that they didn't take the action we needed. So we'll just build in a contingency to send them somewhere else. That a lot of campaigns you'll see in Infusionsoft are set up like this, where it's just sequence to goal. And that's fine, but if they don't achieve this goal, then they just sit in this sequence and kind of rot and nothing happens with them. So that's not what we want. So that's why we build in all of these kind of drop-off points so that, we always have a plan for someone, whether they don't watch it or watch a little bit of it or don't register or don't show up. We always have those plans in place. And those are all controlled by the goals. In the Goodwill campaign videos and megaphone, you are setting up a page that has all 3 videos on every page. The primary links to the others. I've never seen Frank do that. He always has a single video per page to remove the others from that page. You can. It kind of depends on, like, for instance, if you're doing an auto launch, I would keep them, and I would just say, so what he's referring to for everyone, I'll pull it up, is we have this video and then the 3 links. It says video 1, video 2, video 3. So if it's like a Goodwill and you're saying, hey, this is a 3-part video series, I think it's fine to keep these. I wouldn't have links to them. I would just say like video 2, or maybe you have the title, like, you know, how to X without, I don't know. So that would be my, you know, my headline of the video. So they read that and they're like, oh, that's interesting. I want to see that video. And then I would just put coming soon, so that they're watching video 1 and down here they can see, oh, how to X without Y. I do want to learn that, coming soon. And then, you know, how to close something. And then, you know, they're like, oh, I want to see that too. So then they're kind of on the lookout for those emails. So that is a great way to do it if you're doing like a launch and they're expecting 3 videos. Otherwise, if it's just a Goodwill or like an indoctrination video for a webinar, we probably wouldn't do this. In that case, I would just hit customize and hide. I probably have a, oops. And then you can just, you know, go through and hide everything. And you can literally make it just a standalone page, just, you know, video and a headline. So very easy to kind of edit that and change. So it just really depends on the campaign. If it's like for an auto launch, I would keep the 3. And if it's for, you know, Goodwill or you know, Goodwill, it kind of depends on how you're framing it. Automated webinar, like the objection handling and stuff, I would probably just have it like this. I just had an issue with Webinar Jam. Turns out they maxed their API with Infusionsoft. Uh-oh. So my leads were not getting passed into Infusionsoft. They're fixing it, but you ever had that happen with Stealth? No, I have never had that happen with Stealth. I've never heard about that. I've never heard about that happening with Webinar Jam either. So I wonder if that could have affected us. It might have. I'm glad you mentioned it. I'll have to look into it. No, yeah, short answer, no. I've never, I've never had that happen. Is that a good reason to consider using Stealth instead? I mean, I don't know if it's like their integration with Infusionsoft is fairly new. Webinar Jam, they did not used to integrate. So I imagine there are some kinks that they need to work out and stuff like that. I don't really know. I don't really know if this is kind of a predictive sign of things to come. I doubt it. They're pretty smart guys. So I think that it should be fine going forward. I mean, there's probably going to be some issues. There's issues, you know, there's some issues with both of them. It's software. There's issue with Infusionsoft. There's always going to be little things. That seems like a pretty big deal, though. I imagine that won't happen again. So, yeah, I don't know if I would switch if I was already set up with Webinar Jam. I don't know if I would be like, all right, I'm out of here. I don't know. That's a tough one. We're kind of dealing with a similar thing. I don't know if any of you use Bluehost for hosting, but that was down all today. So we have our emails and our site on there. So we didn't have access to our emails. We didn't. So it was kind of a mess. And I know that affected a lot of people. There's a lot of businesses that use Bluehost. You know, what can you do? It sucks. I don't know if we are going to switch our hosting provider because of it. I don't know. So yeah, that's kind of something that to talk to them about and be like, hey, do you think this is an issue going forward? Like, we're thinking about using this. I don't really have an answer on there, but yeah, that would be my 2 cents. Thanks. How about the add tag at the start and remove at the end of the sequence? Yes. So we talked about goals and how tags can be used there. Now within the sequence, there are also tags. Now, these ones are not necessarily goals. They can be, like we can apply a tag here to start another campaign. And that's what we do at a lot of our fall off points. So notice, in a lot of our contingencies, we'll apply a tag that says to next campaign, or if I already set this one up, so it's Goodwill start campaign. So if they don't register for the webinar, so this is the AutoWebby didn't register, then we're applying these tags saying they didn't register. So these are just kind of tracking tags. So that way we know, hey, they didn't register. And then we're removing kind of the invited. So with all of our tags, we kind of have status tags that let us know where they're at in the campaign. And there's a great webinar that I uploaded to the members area where all the call recording videos are. That is done by Brett Martineau, who's on our tech team here. All about tags and kind of how to structure them and how we set them up and kind of some naming conventions. So I would recommend watching that. I think it's like 40 minutes, but very good, covers tags. More so kind of in organization and naming than in like how they're used. But just know that there's goals. They can be set up as goals, or they can just be kind of status tags. And that's what these ones are, just kind of status, didn't register for the webinar. This one is actually sending them to another campaign. So I hope that kind of clears it up, the differences. How much longer are you going to be doing these calls? Until no one shows up anymore, or until something else happens. We have no end for them, I guess is the best way to put it, where they're going to be weekly, just to kind of help you guys get up and running. So that's fixed now, and the devs are working on it. Okay, cool. So I'm glad they got it fixed. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if I would switch because of that, but yeah, definitely something to consider. Do you expire video links with plus this in Goodwill campaigns like you would in auto launch? It depends. Generally, we do with all of our videos, just because we want to train people that, hey, when we put out a video, we don't just leave it out. We want to take it down. That kind of trains people that, oh, they put out a video. I need to watch it soon because the last time I did it, it was already taken down. And that's just a strategy that we kind of use that will not be the best strategy for everyone. We just like to have, the same reason we run our webinars always at 11 o'clock, and we don't offer replays. We want to make it appointment viewing. We want to train them that, like, hey, you have to show up at this time. This is, you work around our schedule, not vice versa. And that's just a way of it also kind of pre-qualifies people and filters out, people that aren't serious about your stuff. And we get that, there's stuff in the way, there's jobs and everything, but so we kind of say, like, hey, it's going to be at this time. There's no replay. Show up if you really want the content. And then we get, the people that do show up are motivated. They've blocked out time. They haven't just kind of flipped it on when they're bored and, oh, I got some free time, I can watch this now. It's like, no, it's appointment viewing. They know that there's urgency in that. So that's kind of our strategy for those. So most times, there's probably a few that we haven't, but in most cases, we will try and take videos down after a couple days and people haven't watched. But they're generally in some kind of, campaign structure. So they're moving kind of through. So if you set the tags like that, it adds at start and removes at the end of the sequence. Yes, for the most part. Some of them will stick, like this one right here, didn't register for the webinar. We're not going to remove that because we want to be able to look on their contact record and say, okay, they didn't register for the webinar. That was kind of the drop-off point. We invited them, but they never registered. So you'll see in some of the other ones, we'll have other drop-off points. So no show, sending reinvite. So we can tag them, hey, they didn't show, we sent them the reinvite. And then another thing to know in Infusionsoft is these tags, like you can't get applied, a tag can't be applied twice. So if someone has already been through this campaign and we didn't remove the AutoWebby invite to webinar, the send webinar invite tag, if we wanted to invite them again or start another campaign and we applied that same tag, it would not trigger the campaign for that person. The tag has to be removed in order for the action to take place. So getting that tag like 100 times, if it got applied to them, would only trigger one action unless the tag was removed every time. So usually on these start campaign tags, we will remove it in the next sequence. So we're removing the send webinar invite so that if we want to invite them again, like if they don't buy, if they didn't show up to the webinar, well, in a month we might want to invite them again. So we can apply that tag again, and it'll kick off the campaign. Otherwise, if you don't remove them, then they'll go through once and they'll never be able to go through again. And we'll keep inviting people to webinars, maybe not right away, but we'll wait a month or so and send them through a couple of other campaigns and then loop back, especially if they never showed up, because they're not going to remember the content. We've had people, go on the same webinar before and like try and buy again. It's like, dude, you already bought this product. You were already on this webinar. It happens all the time. People there's so much competition and so much distracting stuff on the internet that people are rarely just looking at one thing. For instance, most of you right now are probably not just looking at my screen. You're probably on Facebook, you're on email, probably have 20 tabs open that you're looking through stuff. And that's a perfect example. That's how most of your customers are going to be when they're watching and consuming your content. It's just the nature of the beast. So know that, prepare for it, and realize, you can send them back through things if they didn't consume the content. There's no shame in looping them back in, a week or month later, because then chances are they're not going to remember it. Where's the members area? You should have received an email. If you didn't get that, it should have your login credentials. Just shoot me an email, and I will send you your login credentials. But yeah, so there's a members area that kind of has video walkthroughs on this, and I post all the call recordings from these in there as well. I've never used multiple start. When do you recommend using those instead of multiple concurrent campaigns? Multiple start. So are you referring to, I'm talking to you, Liz, are you referring to these right here or just different ways of starting the campaign? Because these all, I don't know if this is exactly what you're asking, these will all run at the same time. So these will all start at the exact same time. We could have them all in one line, but thought that would be very confusing and people would be like, oh, I don't understand the order of this. So we kind of tried to divide it up. This is probably a bad example because they're all using different, go to the objection handling. So here we have kind of our different features. We have the HTTP post, the tags, and then the timers and emails. So we just kind of try to separate it like that. They all run at the exact same time. It doesn't go, here, then here, then here. All the start tags go right away. Really, this is just for kind of aesthetic purposes. We wanted it to look more congruent, and when you came in, you could be like, okay, all those are happening. So that's the only reason we have those. Got a lot of busted. I knew it. Okay, a couple people, need access to the members area. I'll make sure that you guys get that. Just if I haven't sent it to you already, just shoot me an email, and I will send that over. Cool. How do we find people who have unsubscribed to make sure we don't aren't spamming them? Good question. So Infusionsoft will actually, so if you have people on your list and you send them marketing and they unsubscribe, Infusionsoft is smart enough to know that next time we send them an email, it will automatically skip their email address. So it will read that. So if you go to a contact record, I'm going to pull up mine. Under this little status, it will say unsubscribed. So you don't need to go through and manually take them off your list. You can, but when you email them, when you send them, into a campaign or a broadcast email, Infusionsoft will automatically just skip their email address. It's not gonna, if they unsubscribe, it's not gonna send them anything. So you don't need to worry about that. But if you want to delete it, like if there's no use in having the contact there. Now, in some cases, it is useful to keep them if they have like order history and stuff like that. You don't want to delete all that. But if there's a customer that signed up and then unsubscribed, you can probably delete the contact record. So you can go under Marketing Reports, and which one is it? Email Status Search, right down here in the middle. So I'm going to hit Start Over, do a fresh search. And here it's going to give you a bunch of different criteria. So you can really hone these in. I can go over here and, I can really get really granular with all of these. So, but what we're focused on is their email status. So you'll notice there's a couple of different statuses here. Unconfirmed, confirmed, legacy, confirmed, non-marketable. Really the big ones are unconfirmed just means that they did not double opt in. So basically if you send them, if you send, that double opt-in email that's like, hey, please confirm your email address, that just means you didn't do that. You can still send them emails. You can still do everything in Infusionsoft. That's all it means. Confirmed means you did use the double opt-in. So you'll notice in campaigns, start a new one here. There's actually a goal called email confirmation. So if you want to do that right away, we don't do it, but I know that it's kind of industry best practice to do, or a lot of people do. So you can set that up and it automatically will send that out. See it's locked. I mean, obviously you have to have an opt-in or something to trigger that, but it will send the confirmation email. It already has the link kind of embedded in it, so you can't change that. You can change all this text up here, but this part you can't. And once they click, it'll automatically, change their email status to confirmed and move them on to the next thing. So, and then there's non-marketable, bounce, opt out, unsubscribe, all of these. So what you can do is kind of search for the bounces and just highlight all of these: opt out, unsubscribe, reported spam, invalid email. Don't need any of those. Search, and here's all these email addresses that I have that are in here as opt-outs. So I can go in there and I can delete all these, or do whatever I want with them. But that's how you pull them up. So Infusionsoft does have a limit on contacts, which you can add more, but I forget what the limit is on the apps that most of you have. But if you're running into that problem and you're close, that's the first thing I would do, is probably just delete people. Make sense? Cool. Let's see what other questions we got here. Give me a minute. Can you go over the smart links? I still don't quite understand. Yeah, so plus this smart links. Go ahead and add it. Smart links is going to be the second one down. Smart links are awesome. We use them a lot of times. So this is how we actually take away your access in those videos. We don't actually take the videos offline. Most of the time, we're just using smart links. So we say, hey, you have X days to watch this until we're taking it offline. And how we do that is we have a fallback URL. So first thing I'm going to do is add the smart link, hit new smart link, and we're going to do it based on tags. And here's how we do that. I'm just going to set it up real quick. That was an old campaign. We'll do it in the new customer. Just very basic smart link setup using tags. So the first thing we need to do is apply a tag. Generally, this is our cart open tag. So when their cart's open, that's most of the time how we use smart links. But if you're using it for video, you can just say, video access or whatever this tag is. So I'm going to use a cart open one. 4-day cash machine 2.0 cart open. Okay, so that's the tag that's kind of going to control their access. So save it. We're going to apply that tag, then we're going to send them an email. This email is going to be a link to the video to watch or to the page, whatever they're going to see. And then we'll probably have a timer. Sure, 3 days. So you have 3 days to watch it. And then I'm going to remove that same tag. So it's going to be the 4-day cash machine 2.0 cart open. So that tag's being applied. They're being sent the email with the link. Timer's waiting 3 days. Then we're removing that tag. Now in Smart Link, we have two URLs. We have the send to address and the fallback. The send to, this is the URL we want them to go. So this would be your video page or your VSL or your order form, whatever it is, that's where we're sending them. So that's the link. That's the page we want them to see. Then we're going to create the rule. Has tag. Obviously, this is going to be that 4-day cash machine 2.0 cart open. So if they have that tag, then they're going to go there. They're going to go where we want. If they do not have that tag, we're going to set a fallback URL. So this is going to be your sold out page. We have like one page that we use for all of these. It just says like this content is no longer available or this content has been taken offline or something. Just something generic that we use across all of them. So yeah, that's going to be your sold out page. I can spell. All right, now you'll notice I gave you two links here. We want to use this bottom one because we are going to feature this in an email. In almost all circumstances, we're going to be giving people an email link to that. So copy that. And I would just hyperlink that in this email. Now we could go through the campaign links section, which is what we usually do, but for this case, I'll just do it here. So I'd set up my email. This is just a default. Here is your video link. And I'll just do that, hit link. And that is ready to go. So this is fully pretty much live right now. If those were, if I used actual links in the smart link, this would be good to go. This would work. After 3 days, I could send myself the link. I would go to the VSL order form. After 3 days, if I tried using the same email, tried to click that link again, I would no longer have access. So it's a pretty easy setup, and it's pretty powerful because you can kind of control access on it. Jeff, can we cover A/B testing using 2 opt-in pages? We actually have a video on that somewhere that I will send. I have to try and find it, but it'll do a better job than I can explain here in the 2 minutes we have. So, cool. Does anyone else have any other questions other than that? We're almost at time here, but okay, I use a lot of campaign-wide links like abc.com/forward to go to the new webinar, and then all the campaign-specific URLs go to that master forward. Would you do that with the smart links too? Send them to a master redirects when you have to change one link when something changes. I don't, probably not, to be honest. We don't really change the links that much. We'll just usually create a new feature. Because most of the times we just set these features up once per campaign and then let them run. So I think that's what you're asking. So we'll just set it up for this campaign, and then if we do another one, we'll create a new smart link, and we'll set it all up, control the access there as well. So yeah, I don't think you really need to keep redirecting them. Just you just set it up once, and then you can keep you can set up for different campaigns as well. How much longer are you gonna do these calls? Yeah, so I'm gonna keep doing these calls until they're every week, until no one shows up, or until whatever. We have no end for them. Cool. Well, thank you guys. I will post the recording of this in the Customer Hub site. Like I said, if you don't have access for that, just shoot me a quick reminder email, and I'll make sure you get access before the holiday. I'll send that back to you. You guys are great. I hope everyone has an awesome Thanksgiving spent with family and friends. Enjoy, don't overeat, and we will talk to you soon.